Assalamu alaikum. I am Kafil Uddin, senior teacher of Bhitipara K.H.K.High School. Welcome you all to my today's online class. Dear students, how are you? I hope you are well. I am fine too. Dear students, in the previous class, I discussed about transformation of sentence, that is affirmative to negative, and I discussed it up to rule 3. Today I am going to discuss rule 4. You have to be attentive. Look at the board. Rule 4. If you get must used in a sentence, then you have to use cannot but or cannot help in place of it to change it into negative. I think you have understood the instruction. Now we can discuss it. For example, number 1, you must obey your parents, and you have to change it into negative. Dear student, look at the word must, and we have to change it. Answer will be you cannot but obey your parents. Dear students, you have watched it that I have used cannot but instead of must. Now it has been changed into negative. I am taking another example of it. We must go there. Now we have to change it into negative. Now look at the solution. First subject, then we have to use we cannot help going there. Here I have used cannot help, so verb will take ing after it. But if we use cannot but, for example, here I have used only cannot but, so verb does not take any s or es or ing, etc. But when we want to use cannot help, then main verb will take ing. I think you have understood it clearly, dear students. Now I am going to discuss the next rule. Dear students, let us know the rule 5. If you find every used at first in a sentence, then you have to use there is no plus next word of every plus but plus extension to change it into negative. I think you have understood the instruction. I am going to repeat it. Then we have to use there is no plus next word of every plus but plus extension. For example, one. Every mother loves her child. Now you have to change it into negative. Every mother loves her child. So we have got every at first of the sentence. Now we have to write there is no. There is no. And then the next word of every. So next word mother. So we have to write mother. There is no mother. Then but. Then extension. But last her child. Dear students, look at it carefully. According to the direction, instead of every, I have written there is no. And the next word of every. So, we have to write mother. Then but and then extension. I think you have been clear about this example. Now I am going to write the next example. Everyone hates a liar. Everyone hates a liar. You have to change it into negative. So similarly, here we have got every at the beginning of the sentence. So we have to write there is no. There is no. And the next word of every is one. Then but. but hates. A liar. I think you have got the point. It has been clear to you. Now I am going to discuss the next rule. Rule 6. Dear students, in Rule 6, it is said that if you find to used in a sentence, then you have to use this structure: subject plus verb plus so plus adjective or adverb plus that plus first subject plus cannot or could not plus verb again and plus extension to make it negative. You have to follow this structure to change it into negative. This part is very important part. You have to follow it. For example, number 1, he is too weak to what? He is too weak to what? Now you have to change it into negative by following this structure, and answer will be at first subject. Here is the subject, then verb. He is, and in place of to we have to use so, and then adjective or adverb, that is weak. Weak. And in place of to we have to use that, and then you have to write first subject again. Subject is he, so you have to use he, and then you have to use cannot or could not. If the sentence is in present tense, then you have to use cannot. If you find the sentence is in the past tense, then you have to use could not. Here is present tense, so we have to use cannot. He is so weak that he cannot work. Dear students, mark it carefully. Though the structure is big, but work is short. here you can use so instead of to, and then you have to write down the adjective or adverb. Adjective or adverb. Weak. Here is weak is an adjective. Then you have to use that instead of to. Then you have to repeat the first subject again, and you have to use cannot if the verb is of present tense. You have to use cannot, and if you find the past tense, you have to use could not here. So I think you have got the clear idea. Now I am going to the next example. For example, Della was to poor to buy a chain. Now you have to change it into negative. Now you can solve it. You have seen that here is use past tense. So answer will be Della was. You have to use so instead of to, then adjective poor, and then you have to use that instead of to, and then the rest of the sentence that, and you have to use again the first subject she, not he. Here is Della is subject, so we have to use she in place of noun. She, and it is past tense, and so we have to use could not. She could not buy a chain. Now look at the sentence again. Della was so poor that she could not buy a chain. I think you have understood it clearly. If you find any problem, you can write comment, and then I will try to solve it. Dear students, practice them and try to understand them. I think you will get clear idea about it. I will discuss it again in the next class. Till then, Allah Hafiz.